Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We've officially hit day 23 of the government shutdown here in the United States, and there's something incredibly important happening that we need to talk about. Millions of people are already feeling the impact. Hundreds of thousands of federal employees aren't receiving paychecks. Airports are dealing with delays. SNAP recipients could lose access to their benefits starting November 1st. And yes, even our US military, the men and women who protect this country, might not get paid. But the real reason I'm making this video right now is because a major bill is on the table, and depending on how today's vote goes, everything could shift, or absolutely nothing could change. If you rely on federal benefits, work for the government, or are just trying to figure out what in the world is going on, you need this information. I spent hours digging through the bill itself, reading official statements and reports so you don't have to, and I'm going to explain exactly what this proposal does, who it helps, who gets left out, and what it could mean for you personally. So grab your coffee, because this situation is messy, and it affects far more people than most realize. Here's the deal. Senator Young has introduced a new act to ensure that certain federal workers still get paid during a shutdown. The bill focuses on funding for accepted federal employees, those considered essential and legally required to keep working even when the government is closed. These are people whose work protects lives, safeguards property, or maintains national security. Think military members, Border Patrol, TSA screeners, the folks still showing up every day during this crisis. Money for this would come from the US Treasury during the shutdown. Seems straightforward, right? Well, not so fast. Democrats are strongly opposed to this bill. Their position is that every federal worker should be paid, not just those labeled essential. And honestly, that argument makes sense too. If you are working, paycheck should follow. But this is Washington, so politics complicates everything. Even the definition of essential isn't something both sides agree on. Right now, more than 700,000 federal workers have been furloughed, meaning their jobs weren't categorized as essential. And the Trump administration has suggested that some furloughed positions might be eliminated permanently, arguing that if you're not essential during a shutdown, maybe the job shouldn't exist at all. It's a cost-cutting mindset similar to what we see in big tech. Companies restructure, divide responsibilities among fewer roles, offer slight raises, and cut payroll. But this isn't just numbers on paper. These are real families stuck in the crossfire. Let me share a real example. A friend of mine has a wife deemed essential. She's still working every day without pay. Their daughter, who also works for the government, is non-essential and has essentially been laid off. My friend's wife has been showing up for weeks now with zero income coming in. Sure, she'll eventually receive that pay, but eventually doesn't pay a mortgage, a car loan, insurance, student loans, or medical bills due right now. So she launched a side business 3 weeks ago. And, incredibly, it's now earning her more per day than her government job ever did. Now they're stuck making a tough decision. Continue a job that isn't paying or go all in on something new? Federal workers everywhere are wrestling with the same impossible choices. And it's not only them. Over 40 million people receiving SNAP could suddenly get no benefits at all on November 1st. Food banks are already stretched thin and could run dry soon if this drags on. WIC receives short-term funding, but that won't hold forever. TSA staff are working unpaid, leading to delays and strained security. And again, military families could lose their pay. That's how serious this has become. Today the Senate is expected to vote on this bill. The goal behind the vote is pretty clear. Put maximum political pressure on Democrats as we hit this 23-day mark, especially because tomorrow, Friday, is when millions of federal workers miss their first full paycheck. Imagine your boss telling you, no paycheck tomorrow, but don't worry, maybe in a couple weeks. Most people wouldn't keep showing up. That's the reality right now. Republicans are holding firm. No action until the government reopens. Democrats are digging in. No reopening until Obamacare subsidies are extended beyond 2025. Complete gridlock. Bernie Sanders strongly criticized this bill, saying it gives the president too much control to label who counts as essential, and that Trump could use that discretion to punish Democratic priorities and communities. Other lawmakers echoed that sentiment. They insist all federal workers deserve paychecks, not just a select few. Right now, it looks like this bill won't hit the 60 votes needed. Democrats plan to introduce a counter-proposal to pay furloughed workers too. But that also needs 60 votes and isn't guaranteed to even come up for debate. So the most likely scenario? Both bills fail. Shutdown continues. But here's a crucial point. Even if nothing passes today, these ideas aren't going away. Legislators are collecting notes, building future strategies, and once the shutdown eventually ends, they'll revisit many of these policy proposals, like ensuring essential workers get paid during future shutdowns, protecting WAC funding, and re-evaluating SNAP security for tens of millions of Americans. This moment is setting the blueprint for future crises. Now, I don't want to just drop a bunch of stress on you. I want you to feel ready. Here's what you should do. Check your current benefits. SNAP, WIC, Social Security, anything federal. Screenshot benefit amounts and award letters. Plan for SNAP delays on November 1st. Prepare now, even if it feels uncomfortable. Look up local food banks and what documents you need. Do it before you're in an emergency. Call your senators and share how this shutdown is personally affecting you. Your voice matters. Federal workers, connect with others for support and resources. Don't isolate. Document any hardship, overdue bills, eviction threats, medical issues. This could be important later. I truly wish I could tell you help is coming fast, but that's unlikely. We're in the second longest shutdown in history, and neither side is budging. With millions about to miss full income, desperation will rise, and political pressure will ramp up. But it's impossible to predict when the deadlock will finally break. What I do know is this: people are strong, communities rally, local aid groups are stepping up, and remember, major programs like Social Security and Medicare have legal protections. They can't just vanish overnight. This whole situation is a reminder of how fragile the systems we rely on can be, that politics can interrupt paychecks already earned and put food access at risk for millions. But by knowing what's happening and preparing, you take back control, and you're not alone. We will get through this together. I'm watching every update closely and will keep covering the shutdown, benefits, and these key votes. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you don't miss anything new. Check out the playlist I've put together with more details on SNAP, WIC, Social Security, and other benefit programs. And please, share your story in the comments. Are you a federal worker missing pay? Worried about benefits? I read every single one, and they help me answer the questions people need most right now. If you worked, you deserve pay. If you qualify for benefits, you deserve to receive them. And if you're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, or scared, that's completely understandable. You are not alone. We're going to get through this. Thanks for being here, and I'll be back with more updates as soon as they drop.